Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Today we are going to start our next chapter from your reader book, that is What Happened to the Reptiles. This is a story about the reptiles at Pambupati. We are about to read an unbelievable story. However, it's certainly true. It took place long ago in a beautiful scene of village of Pambupati. The village lay on the edge of a thick jungle. It was on a cliff. The vast forest stretched below like a mossy green carpet. There are many kinds of people in the village, dark, fair, tall, short. They all spoke many languages. Some ate meat, some didn't. Some prayed in a small temple at the edge of the forest. Others prayed in the mosque some miles away. Let me introduce myself. My name is Prem, and I have been living 100 miles away from Pambupati. I have heard many interesting stories about that village, but I had never been there. I was keen to do so. Then last year, something terrible happened. The people of my own village went mad. Far away in a place they have never been to. Temples or mosques has been burned down and they went mad. They started accusing one another. Some had to run away in the middle of night, and at the 3 in the morning, as I lay in my house, half awake to the sounds of hate and the violence, someone lit a fire. Many houses were burned down in a fire, reduced to mere ashes. One of them was mine. I managed to grab a few clothes, some coins, and my statue of Ganesha. Then I ran for my dear life. I ran continuously for a day and a night without looking back or resting. When my legs would not carry me any further, I merely slowed down, not daring to stop altogether for the fear of being caught. I jumped on a train, then on buses. I had no tickets, but never mind, everyone seemed to be running away in one direction or the other, wherever they thought safety awaited them. Finally, I reached Pambupati. I saw many villagers gathered near a well. I ran towards them. Before I could say a thing, I fainted. When I opened my eyes, I saw an old man with white hair, white beard, and shining black eyes bending over me. He looked like a kind soul, and after so many days, I felt safe again. For the next few days, he looked after me, putting food in my mouth, bringing me sweets, cool water from the stream nearby. He rubbed my feet gently and made the pain go away. Neighbors, strangers, everyone came to visit me. I slowly recovered under his gentle care. Grandfather, I said, I have never seen people like the villagers here. In my village, people fight with those who pray to another god. But here, this seemed a very strange place. Just like heaven. Prem came back the reply. I will tell you the story of Pambupati. You can take the story back to your village. Maybe it will heal some of its wounds and bring some sense into the people there. Oh, grandfather, I said, I never want to go back to my village. I don't even want to think of what I went through. It's that place. Prem, your village needs you. You must carry the message that I give you. That's why you must go back, he replied softly. I didn't want to hurt him, as I was keen to hear the story. A very long time back, there was no schools, no teachers. Little children lived in caves with their parents and only helped them to collect fruits and berries from the forest. At that time, there was no tigers or panthers or elephants in Pambupati forest. The forest only had reptiles, snakes, crocodiles, turtles, lizards, and all manners of reptiles filled with the forest. Some were dangerous and others are not. Only looked dangerous. They had scales, bodies, and lays eggs. Every month, the reptiles of Pambupati gathered for an important meeting. Everyone came, the venomous snake, the thoughtful tortoise, the clever lizards, and even the evil-looking crocodiles. Makara was the largest crocodile and was the president of the reptiles of the forest. He presided over the meetings. He liked to exert his importance over the smaller animals. No one dared defy him. Then one fine day, before a meeting was due, Makara dispatched a letter to the group leaders of tortoise, ordering them to stay away from the meeting. Everyone was surprised. Ashit, the big old star tortoise with his black and yellow pattern with a beautiful shelf, was very angry. This was an insult. He thundered. How dare that evil Makara suggest a nasty thing? The tortoise were very angry, but dared not defy Makara. They were few in numbers after all. Then the day of the meeting arrived. Everyone arrived at the venue and waited for the Makara to arrive. He arrived late, as usual. My dear brothers and sisters, he began. All the reptiles, even the royal king cobra, stopped speaking to each others and paid attention. Makara continued his speech. I have decided that we don't need the tortoise anymore to be a part of this group. Hence, I have instructed them to avoid attending our meetings. Fellow men and sisters, what are the views? The reptile looked this way and that. They felt very uncomfortable. The snakes hissed angrily. The lizard wrinkled their tails. The crocodile opened their jaws even wider, but said one little lizard. No buts, shouted Makara. There was silence. I think, said a baby crocodile. No, I thinks, screamed Makara, so loudly that the fruits in the tree above him rained down. After that, no one had the courage to speak. They realized Makara had already been mind up and would not listen to any reason. They decided to be quiet. Makara cleared his throat and showed everyone his sparkling teeth. Well, he said, I will tell you why we don't like the tortoises. They are slow, so stupid. They even carry their houses on the backs. Whosoever heard of such a stupid thing? Now, you lizards, you live in trees. Would you like to carry a tree on your back? Would you? Muted, frightened voice answered together. No, we wouldn't. But, again buts. Now listen up, you fools. I have told the tortoise will have to move out of the bamboo patti. When they go, we will have more of everything. More food, more water, more space. I want them out by tomorrow. But because they are such a slow coaches, I have given them 1 week. By next Tuesday, we won't have a single tortoise left in this jungle. And by following Tuesday, all the poor tortoises were all gone. At first, the animals were sad, but then they realized what the Makara had said was true. There was more food, more water, more space for them. But soon, a strange smell began to fill the forest. It was the smell of rotting fruits on the ground, rotting animals in the rivers. This was what the tortoises used to eat. And even about holding his nose, his big claw, Bambupati, was not the same without the tortoises. The realization was dawning on everyone, but no one said anything. A month passed by, and then the same process repeated, albeit with the snakes this time. Makara wrote them one of infamous letter. They have to leave the forest since they could go in a day. Naga, the master of a snake, pleaded for more time, but Makara would not give in. At the meeting, he silenced the others, the lizards and the crocodiles, with all his powerful demon. These snakes are slimy creatures. I hate them. Can't tolerate them at all. They are polluting my beautiful forest, he said. They make funny noises. Who wants such a weird creatures around? They are not good. We can't trust them. No one opposed Makara. And so the snakes left with a heavy heart. For a while, the animals of the forest were happy, but they have gone a little afraid of the snakes anyway. They were venomous creatures, after all, who scared the daylights out of everyone. A few more weeks later, the forest was changed place. The animals looked tired and fed up. Now there was no snakes to eat them. The rats has taken over the entire forest. They were having a wonderful time. They were found everywhere, on a tree, in the grass, on the ground. They ate up the eggs of the lizards and the crocodiles. There would be no babies that year. Makara's own nest of the egg was being chewed by them. Makara was boiling with a fury. Animals could not make up the mind what was going around. Makara ordered all the crocodiles to assemble at the river bank. No other reptile was asked to attend. Makara announced at the meeting, I have asked all the lizards to move out by dawn. I dislike these strangers. Do you know why? Those who change the color, I can't trust them. Who is green one moment and yellow the next? The crocodiles knew their chief was committing a folly, but no one wanted to tell anything. So the lizards departed the next morning. The crocodiles were sorry to see them leave. All kinds of awful things started happening at Pambupati. The rats grew more powerful, as did the frogs. There were no lizards to eat up their eggs or trouble them. They grew huge with the happiness and would often dance on the backs of the crocodiles. There were too many frogs, and all many frogs could the poor crocodiles eat. After some time, the fearless frog began to eat the baby crocodiles. The forest was swarming with the insects. With the lizards gone, there were millions of them, growing bigger and nastier by the day. They bit crocodiles all the time, while the rats and the frogs jumped around in a marathon, often on the back of the crocodiles. It was truly a terrible time for the crocodiles. There was once a happy forest habitat seemed like a distant memory. Each day passed, they often thought of leaving. One of the fear of Makara stopped them from doing anything. One day, the crocodiles sat around the river bank, gloomingly, while the frog teased and troubled them. A squinky little voice peeped up. We know why the forest has gone crazy, do we? At least I know why our home is like this. There was a stunned silence all around. First time, the Makara appeared nervous and unsure of himself. Just as he shook a rat, he asked the baby crocodile, Why, little fellow? Why we are? It all begins with a thought. Okay, said Makara. There is no need to talk so much. Makara didn't want, but he knew everything. Whatever was there, it was because of him. He was not all the powerful. He has lost the moral authority over others. He was not always right. Without anything saying a word, they all came to an urgent message was sent to all the places for the tortoise, snakes, lizards to return home to Pambupati. And what a great day it was when these creatures came back, family after family, with their little ones on their backs or struggling, shouting at their parents to wait for them. It was a happy sight one had dreamed possible till a few weeks back. It was a reality now. Everyone took their rightful places in the forest once again. Life was slowly coming back on a full circle. The forest was limping back to normalcy. The teasing rats gave way to the dwindling population. The smell was fast disappearing. The insects were not swarming over the forest anymore. The forest was returning to its former glory. Prem, said the old man, have you fallen asleep? Did my story send off you to a dreamland? I shook my head vigorously. No, grandfather, I was just thinking, maybe it was a time I have to go back to my own village because I have a story. But what if they don't listen? We can only keep it at, my son. Tell these stories again and again to more and more people. Some of them may laugh at you or say stories are not true, but they remember one day and understand each of us has a place in this strange, funny world of ours. People take time to learn their lessons, but they learn them definitely only if they were someone at right place to teach that lesson. I hope this chapter is clear to you. Thank you.